Okay, we're going to do activity 5.5a, CAD Model Features Part 1. And we're going to do the first part in that handout, which is page 1, 2, and 3. It is the rubber handle sleeve. This is a button maker part, so what we're going to have to do is when we open Inventor, we're going to have to go to our projects. We're going to have to select button maker, double click on it. We're going to hit done. Now whatever we're creating is going to go in the button maker folder. Now we're going to create a new part, standard, which in IPT. We're going to create. Takes a second to create, generate, show us our work planes. Waiting for the computer. Here it comes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to want to create a new sketch so that we have a place to draw. So we have to go up to our 3D Model tab, Sketch. There it is, waiting to select a new plane. I like this XY plane because it just comes right toward me. It doesn't twist around, turn, or anything. Then we have to look at the drawing that is on our sheet, and we have to create that thing. Let's see, it looks like I'm going to need a revolve axis. So that is a construction line, and if I look over at my panel over here to the upper right, there's a Format tab where I can see center line. Get rid of that, center line. And I can't just come down here and draw it. I have to come over here to my Draw tab, my Draw panel, and select line. So now that I have center line and line, I can just go down to this x-axis, and I can draw a horizontal line, plenty big for what I want to draw. I'm going to hit escape. You can see it's big dash, little dash. That is a center line. Now I'm going to go and turn off center line. If I don't turn off center line, all the next stuff that I draw are going to be center lines, and I won't be able to revolve them or close them or do a bunch of things. So now I'm going to draw what that handle looks like. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the, let's see, top of page 3, and I can kind of get the basic shape around my center line. I'm just going to grab a line. And I like to come up near the origin, and I'm going to draw that basic shape. And I'm going to purposely make it not quite straight, just so I can show us how we can fix that. There it is. That is a closed profile. I've connected one line to another. I'm going to hit escape. Now I need to constrain this thing. So what that means is I need to put dimensions on it. I need to use these constraints here to keep it from being angled like this. So I think what I'm going to do to start is I am going to make these lines perpendicular to each other. So I'm going to come up here, Constrain tab, look through, hover. This one looks right, perpendicular constraint. Now remember, in my head I go, I want to make this one perpendicular to this one. That seemed to work. I want to make this one perpendicular to this one. Oh, that's nice. Now I can see this line isn't quite parallel to this one. Well, let's make it. So here's my parallel button. I want to make this one parallel with this one. That's about the shape. Now let's put some dimensions on it. I'm going to start with a couple dimensions that I can see on page 3, which is this. So I'm going to grab this line, pull up, and I can see this should be 0.156 inches. Enter. Everything kind of zooms out because it scales up. And then this entire length of this thing is going to be 4.469 inches. Enter. Gets very long, shoots off the thing. Remember, I can always double click my scroll button to bring everything onto the same space. So then it looks like I need to turn back to page 2, and I can get the rest of my dimensions off of here. So something I can see is that the thickness of this thing is 0.25. So I can go like this, click, click, and I can get that thickness. 0.25 inches. Ooh, that makes it dangerously close to that. If you actually overlap that, what I would do is I would undo and go to a different dimension, which I'll just do. Undo. Get rid of that dimension, and I have to delete it off of there so it doesn't hold me up. And I'll go on to a different dimension. I can see there's two diameters. The diameter of this to my center line, let's click that. The diameter of this thing around the center line is going to be 0.1875 inches. And you can see that symbol looks just like what's on our paper. And then I can see on the right hand side of that picture on page 2 that my dimension from this line to the center line, so about that thing, is 1.375. I hit enter, you can see that symbol right there, that's 0.375. Now you can see that this, I can put my 0.25 dimension in there without making things out of proportion. 0.25. It's looking pretty good so far. Am I missing anything? 0.25, oh, 0.156. No, the only thing it seems like I'm missing is I see a R.25 typical, which means that there's going to be a fillet here and a fillet here, but I'm going to revolve this thing before I put that on. So this looks good to me. I'm going to finish my sketch. Finish sketch. Again, I can double click my scroll button to zoom everything in. That looks good. Now I get my 3D modeling tab, shows me what kind of creating I can do. I am going to revolve. Here's my tool window that shows me how to revolve. It automatically picked the profile. If it didn't, you can select this button and select that profile. It automatically select the axis because that's the only axis there. Or if it didn't, you could select that button and select that axis. And if you have a closed profile, it will automatically swing around there. That looks good to me. We'll hit OK. Now we can go back, and actually I'll move this around a little. I'm holding my shift key down and my scroll button so that I can show us how this moves, which right now it doesn't seem to want to move on me. Escape because something's hit. There we go. We've saved up some motions there. Now let's do that. It doesn't want to do that. Tell you what, let's skip that. We seem to be hung up on here a little bit. It's ready. I'm going to just click this to show you. There's that hole on this side. There's that hole on this side. What I need is a 0.25 fillet right here and right here. So that's what I'm going to do. Fillet. Right now it is set at 0.125. We need it at 0.25. Now select the edges we want to put fillets on. This one and this one. As long as I have the right size there, it's going to automatically do it. Apply. It's waiting. Do you want to put more fillets on? Nope. I can get rid of that. And now I have that rubber handle sleeve. Looks good. The only thing I have to do now is change the material, because as I read along here it tells me it's rubber. So I'm going to come up to the top of my file menu here. This is the area that puts materials in. So I can click my down arrow and come down the list until I come across rubber. Once I change it to rubber, it becomes black because that's rubber's natural color. So we are good. That's what it is. So now I'm going to hit save. I'm going to type the name of this part in here. Rubber handle. Oop, can't leave spaces. Sleeve with your initials. And you don't have to put the last piece on there, the file extension. It'll automatically do it. So once I have that on there, I can hit enter and save. It will be saved. I would be overwriting mine. Do I want to replace the one I already did? Sure, it doesn't bother me. Looks like the same part. That looks good. So rubber handle sleeve.